Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Played around with the mic a little bit last night, so just let me know you can hear me loud and clear. And then we're going to get into some top-down analysis on the market. Morning, Coop, Jake and Up One, Edwin, Glenn, Exister, Miguel, Minix, Marek, Jeff, Mindful Matters, DJ Noah, Tomek, Ramus, Thumper, Exister. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know, buddy. All right, morning, everyone. Same team here over and over again. This is why we start getting nice compounding returns. So let's start with a top-down analysis. We're going to start with the daily on the NQ. All right, so where are we opening up? Right by this 20-day. All right by the 20-day. So mean reversion off the lows into the 20-day. We need to be cautious where we are. Definitely opening up in range. All right, possible that we have an inside bar today. Here is your range. All right, very, very possible that we create some form of inside bar. What I would say, though, this range is huge. Right, we're still looking at 300-400 points in an inside bar. Definitely supply up here. All right, we failed up here yesterday. This is an old low. We have an H1 block here, which I'm going to get into later. So far, failing off supply, but we're holding top side of this range. So all the time we're building liquidity up here. We have potential for a drive back in to retest this supply. If we can break out of this supply, hold a retest, then potentially, if not today, later in the week, we're going to come up and attack these stops up here. Any push and failure will return us back into range. We'd have to take out the underside for a real rollover and a retest of the lows. All right, so definitely inside bar on the daily in a very precarious position here where it's going to build liquidity for the next move. That's going to be more and more apparent as we move down the time frames. All right, going down into an hourly now. You'll see the hourly here. We have this pivot low that we put in right here. Right, then a first higher low, next higher low, yesterday another higher low. All right, so hourly into an uptrend on the hourly, but we are, or yesterday we visited supply for the first time. All right, so we chomped our way through all these old blocks here. All right, got through all of these, breakout, never needed to retest those. It continued to drive higher until we got through this supply block right here, which now becomes a level of support. You can see this old value area high offering some levels of support, probably all the way down to here is more accurate. All right, that value area high and pivot, and we came up to the highs right up. Oh, where's my arrow gone? See if it would draw for me. Right up to here. All right, and we failed in this supply block. This will be what the market wants to try and retest today. All right, it will want to try and retest there for bullish moves to see if sellers remain there. We can think about current range of this leg. All right, be very, very cautious. Leg one, leg two. This can be a W pattern here for a return back in. This can be a giant flag building liquidity throughout the day for then to return up in. All right, so they are going to try to search for supply here. Don't be surprised if we break out and fail back into range once we get there. All right, if we start to break out like we talked about on the daily, we start to break out above this and base, then we're going to look for the next level. All right, we're going to keep trading level up, level up, level up, unless we get a fail breakout and a return back into range, just like we talked about on the daily. That will offer an inside bar with a failed breakout on the daily, which coming into Wednesday will mean we have our extremes of the week already set. All right, already set. So that's what we're looking at. And when we think about fibs, we can go from this high to this pivot low. All right, you will see for now we keep rejecting into this golden zone fib over and over. In that fib, you also have quite a nice engulfing imbalance right here on the H1. So far, every tap into this level has failed. All right, so far, every tap, that would be basically the golden zone. Start repricing through that, good chance we go higher. Moving down timeframes now into the M5, you will see overnight, what did we do? We revisited that low that we put in yesterday. So here's the low in the afternoon. Remember we said yesterday, if buyers get trapped up here, we roll over, we retest this low. We have a lot of liquidity sat down here. ES took out this pivot low, NQ did not. Right, so I'm going to actually draw that in a just as a reminder, because we've got it in a few times here. Let me do it. There we go. All right, so this definitely a huge amount of liquidity sat down here towards 45s. So yesterday we came down, held that low, short squeeze rally into close. If you're in Discord, you will know I said the risk on shorting down here is the short squeeze rally into close, which is what I took long. Into the new open, we revisited that low, buy, step back in, exactly the same move, trade back up to Asia. And what time was this? And the close high. So this is your range, all right? This is boxed in range, and it's pretty big range. Until you get clear breakout of one side and a retest, right, expect liquidity to continue to be built here. So if they want to roll over, they're going to come and attack some of this liquidity here and this here. If they're going to hold, they need to base, drive up, fill the imbalance, attack this high, and then either base and go again, or failed breakout and roll back inside of range. On top of that, what do you have? You have a JOLTS number coming at 10 o'clock, right? That is an important number. If they are way off the print there, expect some increased volatility. As if we need any more volatility in this market, right? The ATR remains very, very large, so just be careful as we move down into our main chart now. And you'll see still very, very bullish flow zones holding, especially since this sort of 8:30 print. And we're starting to trap bulls here for now, possibly inducing shorts. We're going to see how this shakes out at the open. So either they offer a short here for a turn back in, or they reclaim it and use that as the squeeze back to previous day high, which is sat all the way up here, just in front of 900. Let's just talk about the Mag 7 quickly. All right, NVIDIA had a big call last night, or presentation last night, giving its roadmap for its chips and AI. Very, very bullish, which is why most of the chip names this morning will be gapping up. Right, NVIDIA's gapping up from close yesterday at 149.64, gapping up all the way just in front of 154. Very, very bullish on that. Tesla continues to fade. All right, another gap down on Tesla, holding its afternoon low yesterday around the 401 to 405s. Let's go through these. Meta looking good. All right, it sold off, found its bid, trading back towards yesterday's high. Similar story on Google, pretty much gapping up, but not huge. Amazon looks very, very bullish. All right, they tried to sell that off back down towards yesterday's lows, and it's gapping all the way up, about to take out previous day high. Microsoft, very similar. All right, gapping up, looking for a drive into yesterday's supply. Apple, the weakest of the bunch, though. All right, Apple with a downgrade and continuing to sell off. Of all the Mag 7, it's been the weakest. All right, people are very worried that they have less and less of an impact in China right now. They're losing market share in China. Recent sales not looking too good, and the Vision Pro has been an absolute flop. So starting to get downgrades there. That's what I'm looking at across the board. That leaves you with about 2 minutes to prepare for market open. If we just look at ES quickly, exactly the same story as the Qs. All right, opening inside of previous day range. It's actually opening inside of previous day's initial balance. I think we're probably doing the same on the Qs. Yeah, we are. So midpoint of yesterday's initial balance. If we can get this break on ES, very much like the Qs, if Qs start to get a break through 800, we're looking for that return into searching for that supply towards 900. You do not want to be buying up too high towards 900 today. If you miss this first move up, if it just extends straight through, don't worry about it. Do not be chasing into 900. Good chance of a failed breakout in and around 900. If we get through 900 and we flip that H1 block into a demand block, then we can think about re-entering for a trade up to 22,000, and then 22,080 will be where I'm looking for an extension through, if we're going to extend that weekly range. Morning, John. Morning, Christy. Oh, that's good. That's good, Coop. Happy it sounds a little bit better there. That's good. All right, I'm going to have to be cautious then in how I talk into it. Morning, Elia. Just a quick look at Bookmap. We've got 30 seconds to go. Orders on the book up at 21,810, then 850, then 887 in front of 900. Downside orders, not much on the book. Really not much on the book. There's a small lot down at 650, but really not a lot there. All right, so I'm going to let this shake out. Remember, numbers at 10 o'clock. You've got about 5 seconds until the market opens, and we get that injection of liquidity into the market. Here we go. So straight through that 800 level. Failed breakout there for now. Let this market shake out. I forgot to say, VIX is still trading down sub 16 right now. All right, sub 16 on the VIX. Let's have a good day. Good luck, everybody. Remember what we're looking for. Breakouts and holds or failed breakouts. Trading into that H1 imbalance so far. Finding some sellers just above 800 so far. Remember, if we're going to break out clean with strength, then we can expect a return up into previous day's supply, which is up towards the 900 mark. So far, finding some sellers there. Basing on, for now, that Asia-London high, that overnight high. Remember, if you're playing the opening range breakouts, whether that be a 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, you can mark these out for yourselves. Very possible, if they keep failing up here, that we get a return into the range. They can get a clean break through 800 and a base. Maybe we start to drive higher. Okay, is that noise getting a bit too high? Let me have a look at that. Let's do it now while we're on stream and it's nice and early. If I pull that limiter down, is that a little bit better? Pull the limiter down a bit now. That's sounding better? Too low, it's too low. What, are you talking about the volume or the noise gate? Okay, we've got mixed opinions here. I'll pump up the gain a little bit there. I'll try and focus on talking direct in, and then we can try and fix it if it's very directional. All right. I've turned the limiter down and the gain up a little bit, so hopefully that's a bit better for you all. Might take me a session to get this fixed. Okay, so your 3 minute opening range has been set for those of you who play that. Very tight range to start the day, 31 points. Thanks, Glenn. Do you want me to sound LA? Do I need to sound LA like all your friends? Or a little bit Irish. Quieter now, really? Oh no, okay. Okay, how about now? That's gone back to where it was. It's gone back to where it was. All right, trading down here then. So failed breakout, trading down towards the VWAP and the lower time frame algo. We can get rid of this and pull this New York Open upside. Back into the range end. So a failed breakout of the high, trading back into the range. This will be key here. If it starts to fail here, we're going to attack Those London lows. Remember, lots of trendline liquidity here. Mag 7 starting to sell, Tesla selling, and Nvidia starting to give back some of its gains here. So let's see if it's going to sell pops today for that morning session rotation down, or if we're going to get some form of V-shaped recovery here. Just not giving an option to get in yet. This is just straight dumping. Remember, if we're going to attack the London lows, right, first level will be 717, then we're looking for a trade all the way down to 685. Be very, very cautious here, though, looking at that H1. This is where we get congested. We're trading into the old point of control here on the H1. So you need to be careful here. Right here, remember, on the H1, you need a clean breakdown under this rejection for a return back into this range. Like I said, just building out a range here this morning. ES not at its VWAP yet. SPY is currently at its VWAP. QQQ also at its VWAP. If we're going to go in for a sell rotation, VIX spiking up through 16. I'd like to find a way of joining this. I need to have it build out some structure. There's the drive up to retest VWAP here. Flow zone's very, very extended high. You could take a VWAP snapshot here for a continuation. Just giving this a little bit of time to shake out as that range has started to extend. Mag 7 all split, all right? So Apple, red, Microsoft, green, but might go green to red here. Amazon now red, Google, green, Meta, red, Nvidia giving back all its gains right now. Sell the news type event in the morning. Is there a way of getting involved in this? That's the question. Morning, John. So if you took that VWAP short, looking good for now, just make sure you start to cover some of your positions as you're trading back through some key levels. Beautiful. But you're now taking out your first level of targets here that we talked about, 720s. If you're going to hold on to this, you're looking at 688, 662, and 650s. You need some structure to be built out here, though, really, for that bear flag and rotation. Be very cautious if they do something like this in a return all the way back up to the top side here. Very, very thin as it hops around. Remember, you've got news at 10 o'clock as well. Nice, Edwin. So you took the opening range break short. Beautiful. Yeah, those have been paying recently for sure. Opening ranges have looked good. SPY rejecting its 20-day. QQQ not into its 20-day yet. Not quite yet. So again, coming up to retest that VWAP now. Is that just a big dip into the London Asia range under here? Let's stop the short, stop the buyers, and we're going to return inside. We're going to have to wait and see. VIX just basing out towards 16 for now. Looking to see if this is going to start to break down to join this. If it does, versus VWAP for that bear flag type look. We ought to be very, very cautious here because of where we're joining near the overnight value area low and all those H1 wicks. I'm very concerned about that. Might be better letting this break down and obviously have this level, which we've soaked off time and time again. But there's a ton of stops down here towards 644 if we're really going to go for it. Beautiful. Can we get some continuation here? into 700s here. Buy it on the tape at 700s. They're starting to stack 100 lots underneath now, which is what I want to see. 660s, 650s, 640s, starting to stack. Beautiful. There we go. Snap of 700. Can we get an extension here now for that lower move as we approach the London low now? Remember, we're approaching that London low, which is what we're talking about. So look to peel some off as we start to trade into this London low around 690. Right here. Have to remember these are H1 levels. This is the old point of control is sat at around 715. So don't be adding too late into these moves. Make sure you are being aggressive. Remember, we're just in a ranging market. If you zoom out on the H1, we're in a ranging market. This is either going to be a giant bear flag on the H1 or it's going to be a W pattern and set up to go higher. You also have Fed Chairman Barkin talking like right now. Fed member, I should say. Nice, Edwin. Very good. Very, very good. That 5-minute opening range right here, definitely paying for that. Still has a chance to move lower if it wants. ES getting a bounce right now off its VWAP. All right, so ES traded back into range, finding a bounce off the VWAP. I'm not attacking this right now. Locked in my gains, now just waiting for the next play. Still very, very early in the session, right? You're 11 minutes into the session. Plenty of time left. Remember, news top of the hour. QQQ holding its 20-day as well. Flow zones starting to catch up. This liquidity here is going to become key. If we start to flip that, we can trade back upside. Right? If we start to flip VWAP, we can trade back upside. Bids coming into the market here, trading back towards VWAP. Lovely. I want to see a clear rejection here, though. Don't want this to keep squeezing too much higher. Looking for this level here to either hold up as supply or that bear flag continuation down, or if it's going to return back inside this move here. Oh, there we go. I want to be very cautious if shorts got trapped down here, not covering into the London low. All right, we haven't swept London low yet, but doesn't have to. As you will notice, and if you've traded this week, QQQ has left a lot of liquidity. Yesterday, it didn't sweep that pre-market low on that drive down in the afternoon. Didn't close the gap fully. Today, it hasn't taken that London low out. It's protected it. Did sweep most of the liquidity, though. So hands off now, letting it shake out. Are we going to go for a return back into here where we broke down from? This is where buyers are currently trapped. So you can think about fibs, you can think about the flow zones. Like I said, this can be your inverted head and shoulder for the drive back up. So far, if we go back down to the H1, you'll see we rejected that imbalance, didn't even make it to the value area high. All right, so we're just trading between these. This is your liquidity pool. If we get through here, this will be the liquidity pool. Otherwise, we're going to come back down into here. We start to break under here. Lots of options today. It's because we're in a liquidity building phase right now. Nvidia trying to hold 150 here. VIX rejecting that push above 16, still just basing out. And here is the squeeze. So shorts got trapped at that low of session so far, and we're returning back into supply, right back into 780s. momentum comes screaming in here, then we probably just take it all out. So filling that M5 imbalance, coming all the way up to 80s like we talked about. Not much on the book. Morning, Eva. Not much on the book up here. Can trade through this quite easily if it's going to find bids. Mag 7 starting to go red to green now. All right, starting to go back red to green. So definitely at some inflection points here as the market makes up its mind. Like we said, we are in a liquidity building phase on the higher time frame for sure. H1 just bouncing between key levels. So used this liquidity here, run the stops, using these stops to get through here. Likely goes for an extension through this now. If it can get through 800, remember we're going to be looking for 900s. If it rejects here, then we're going to return probably back down towards this key level here. This is where the stops were. And then we can think about a bullish rotation back up. Just remember, news coming at 10 o'clock. 15 minutes till news. Range pretty decent. You've got 110 points already in the first 15 minutes. Up and down. All right, up and down. It's definitely where buyers got stuck this morning. Nvidia sub 150 now. So far, where those buyers got stuck, acting as a form of supply. Can we get through that? If we get through that and do this, then we go higher. If we keep rejecting this level here, we come and retest these lows, or at least into here. Right, holding in front of VWAP, are we going to flip those flow zones? I feel like I need to sneeze. It's going to be really loud on cam if I do. Seeing if this is going to flag here for continuation into these highs and run these out. Needs to soak versus this level here if it's going to do it. Again, in a range, ATR can spike very, very quickly. You have to be very cautious how you're playing these. Looking for a flag versus VWAP if it's going to do it. Don't even mind a second leg down. I don't mind a sweep of this and then return back in would be very, very nice. There you go, starting to look good here. Beautiful. All right, so we're now looking for that move through supply into high of day. Right, if we can get a move into high of day and through high of day, then we're going to look for the extension up to previous day high, if we can do it. Very contentious area here. Remember, supply is here. We want to see us trade through this and attack these stops. Bear with me, team. I'm going to have to get tissue here. I'm going to sneeze hard. If it starts to fail versus VWAP and this level here, and we get stuck, then we move lower because we reject supply. But we're going to have to let this shake out. The closer it gets to 10 o'clock, the less I'm interested in a trade in this as well. Right? Because then we are positioning ourselves to just get run out the market as it starts to get thin into 10 o'clock. Mag 7 mostly going back red now. All right, so very, very contentious here on the Mag 7. Not clear whether they want to hold gains or not. The only ones left green. Google looking good. All right, 1.3% up. Tesla red, Nvidia red, Meta red, Amazon red, Apple might go red to green here. So very much so a mixed bag while they decide what is what. Still thinking we can potentially flag here for a drive up if we can flip those flow zones. Currently, everything's sideways. Lower time frame algo, VWAP, previous day open, momentum clouds, deep pullback, all in a 10-20 point range. Not what you want to see, right? We want to wait for range expansion. Then we can get stuck in. Morning, Ryan. Zoom out on an M15. We are just sideways. Really since 1 o'clock yesterday, we are in a range. Good chance of an inside day today. Buyer on the tape down in towards 660. All right, and then more buyers underneath him, underneath 650. So there are buyers down here. This is the attempt at the flag that they're looking at. Same thing. Can we get that squeeze? Just building out that flag versus VWAP. Everything we've been talking about, once we got that drive up, once we shifted above here, we're building the flag here. If it fails under here, that's problematic. If we can get this flag, we can squeeze back towards high of day. If we squeeze through current high of day, we're then going to go and attack back through and up through 800 into 900s. Kathy, I have no idea. Who did you buy a account from? You say you bought an eval. Just make sure all your details are correct in there. The flag looking good here for a break back through high of day. Remember, that's what we're looking for. Apex, I'm not sure. Maybe get in touch with Apex. Make sure your details are correct. I know they had some issues yesterday. All the networks had some issues with Tradeovate yesterday. So maybe it could be something to do with that. Probably will start to thin out here in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So just be careful, team, if we start to thin out. Break and retest of this range, thinking joining long. Of what range, Ryan? I mean, zoom out on the hourly. We were looking for this push here from VWAP for this flag. If this doesn't hold, then we're going to roll over. If this holds, then maybe we can get through high of day, but we're about to come into news. Back to VWAP on the SPY and on the NQ and QQQ. ES a little way to go for VWAP still. Ah, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, if we can get through that and through the imbalance above it, we can return up higher. So far, we are right back to point of control, which is currently VWAP. So we're just chopping around here. Morning, Mr. Freeze. Like we said, everything currently just flat. Look at all the flow zones and indicators. Everything's flat, right? We would need to do this for support or this and then roll over. We can wait to get involved in that now. Less than 5 minutes until we get into news, remember. Look likely to start thinning out. So everything to me is telling me we're currently non-directional. Look at the angles of the lower time frame algo, of the VWAP, of the momentum clouds, of the deep pullback clouds. They are all just horizontal, not directional right now. So we're going to need to build liquidity for the market to become directional today. We have an inside bar on the daily. We are inside on the H1 levels. We are still really, we have a failed breakout of the London Asia high and we traded back inside. So we're definitely not directional in this market right now. So we're just going to have to sit and wait. News coming in just over 3 minutes now. Market starting to bleed out and go red. Google and Microsoft, the only ones left green, right? Reattacking lower day here. Yes, trading back towards VWAP, almost tapped it. And it's going to position itself probably at a very important level coming into news, which the market loves to do. VIX looking like it's going to break upside here, trading back towards 1610, its high of day. So failed breakout at the open, failed push back up on that flag. Buyers definitely not in control inside this range right now, but now we're trading back down towards the lower side, towards old point of control. Do they start to flip this and start to break down now? That's the question. Remember, we didn't take out that London low. It still sat there. Buy on the book at 700. If we trade through him, 660s, 650s, 640s. Buys on the book down there looking to get filled, which would be underneath that London low. 1 minute until news now. So they're positioning towards low of day, towards that London low into news. ES dangling right at VWAP. Book will start to thin out. Okay, it's starting to thin out right now. All right, news about to hit the wire. 15 seconds or so. Book's thinned right out. There's a buy order at 700 and a buy order just in front of 660. Other than that, there's nothing on the tape right now. There you go. So there's the book thinning right out like we talked about. Just letting this calm down now. Now that we've swept that London low, letting this calm down. What's your ATR here as it starts to spike and increase again? So trading back down towards that lower range, yesterday's lows potential now. Closing the gap here on the ES. ES has successfully closed its gap. Mag 7 starting to really roll here and go red. So looking for ways to get involved in this if we're going to continue to sell, but don't want to sell the low of day. So we're going to need a bounce and some structure versus 700 or something like that. Trading through the higher time frame algo. Remember, NQ can still close the gap. All right, all the way down to here. Previous day low. This is gap close. This is previous day low. So that'll be the next low hanging fruit if we continue to reject. But we need a little push back up first before we can think about this. Otherwise, we're going to be shorting the edge of the range, which is very dangerous to do. Continuing to sell here, like we said. So straight through all these key levels now. No bounce to play. Like I said, they positioned it for news like they always do. Can we get a bounce potentially to sell into here? Straight risk off in this market. Continuing to just dump. Let's see if we build some structure out here. Coming into yesterday's lows here on the ES. Sweeping them out on the Qs for the New York session. This is where we found buyers yesterday. We zoom out. This is yesterday afternoon, all right, where we found buyers who started to bid back up. All right, so just be aware of that. Still in a sell model, we're looking for a decent bounce here that we can then get short into, ideally. Otherwise, if it's a sweep and we return back in, we're going to do like a big V-shaped recovery. Remember, flow zone's way up higher here towards 700 is structure. $600 on the tape, right? Big order there, 160 lot at 600. Watch your ATR. We spiked all the way up to almost 60 points there per 1 minute candle. Here's the bounce. How far can we go? Hopefully a lot further than this. I'm looking for shorts here. I know we've swept liquidity, but I'm looking to see if there's a first bounce short setting up. For a bear flag continuation lower, or at least a retest of that low that we put in. Good. Through to 600 would be ideal. We've got a buyer there. If we take him out, that would be ideal. Covering in front of him, 170 lot down there. I would love to see him just get taken out and extend that range for a potential gap fill on the Qs. This is better. Come on. Come on. Covering one there. Beautiful. Come on, get sub 6. All right, covering more there. Want to see us close this gap now. Have to be careful, all right, because that wasn't a huge bounce. Better bounce would have been up here. If we start to trade back above 640, be very, very careful. I'm runners only now. But really, I'd like to see us fill all the way down to here now. Momentum very much downside. Mag 7 all selling other than Google and Microsoft. And look at the VIX trading all the way up. That isn't quite the rip there. So trading up towards previous day high, not far off it now. So whipsawing around. We are still technically in range. We're starting to break down here on the H1, all right? Rejections of everything under 670 and 700 can drag us down on the H1. All right, remember we said if this is going to be a bear flag, not a W, all right? It has the option of being a W. It failed. We're bear flagging, fail breakout. Next level to check will be down here into 500s, all right, once we close that gap. Watching the tape here, seeing who's popping up. All right, still that guy at 600, smaller lot now, and then just around 90s. A failed breakout of the highs, really trap those buyers up there, and then we start to roll aggressively. Beautiful. Still in this runner, looking for this clean 600 break for this gap fill. That's what I'm looking for. Come on, extend more. Almost there. Just needs a snap and a pull down to 30s, but being proactive with my stop now, we're looking good. Here we go. Starting to flush. There we go. Beautiful. So starting to move for that gap fill. Hopefully some of you are in this. Start to lock in some profits if you are, please. All right, ES also getting close for that full gap fill. And you can see the reaction there. Everyone front running that. We're looking for this trade here into here. Flow zones are starting to support action now. Notice we've gone bearish. We're underneath New York Open. We're underneath all the Asia level. Every single trader in the market right now from overnight till this morning is now, if they were a buyer, is underwater. All right, so we're looking to sell pops until we start to shift the other direction. Be careful in terms of where you are. All right, because we are starting to come into these key levels. All right, so we're looking to cover positions into and around here. Into and around here, these levels here. Once we get that gap filled, then the low-hanging fruit trade will be off the table. Morning, Aid. Almost there. 33 will be the gap fill. Previous day close would be 72. If we start to fail previous day close, we can really start to dump sub 500, potentially all the way down into the 300s. Tesla now sub 400. Nvidia now sub 145. So maybe you sell the news event. They pump that up on that news, starting to sell it. I don't like shorts down here now. Right? I don't like. You should be runners only. I don't like new positions here. You're starting to extend away from the flow zones. You're starting to come into those low-hanging fruit targets. So you should be runners only here, and you should be up considerable amount of money. Right? We were looking at shorts around 650s. You're 100 points, almost 90 points. But make sure you're paying yourself some money. Fire on tape 550s. ES has now closed its gap. NQ very, very close. That white line will be your gap fill. So ES getting a bounce off its gap fill right to the penny. NQ not quite there. But just be careful in case we get divergence. VIX continues to break upside now over 17s, right? VIX can keep going here. If VIX wants to keep going, next level would be 1765s. All the time VIX is ripping upside, market will start to go risk off. Low-hanging fruit's now gone. All right, ES has tagged the low-hanging fruit. NQ not quite done it, but just be careful of divergence here. And then we can reassess. If we complete the gap fill and we continue to drive downside, we can reassess. Maybe we try a drive back down into that 5-day moving average or previous day low. Lots of liquidity, remember, sat down there. All these guys sub that, we're going to trade all the way down into these. This break here of all these people at 650s, like we talked about, became key. So if we're going to do a recovery here, we will need to use liquidity up here. Right? Until we break this, we're technically bearish, in my opinion. Just don't get trapped low of day trying to force the short late. Right? I entered the short here. Let's break down. It's a 100-point move. There you go. So shorts trap low of day. Like we said, you don't want to be shorting low of day. You're going to get yourself squeezed. Just like all these shorts who chased this move into here when ES had already fulfilled its obligation of filling the gap. NQ got very, very close. So now we would be short up into these flow zones. If it starts to reclaim, you are open for a squeeze back into VWAP. The sellers stacking up 6, 15, 25 into 40 and 50s. They're looking to get filled up there. That zone we were just talking about. But do not short too close to low of day. Let it build liquidity. Let it show you that it's trapped more buys in to go lower. At the moment, shorts are stuck at low of day. VIX holding its gains at 17s. How many of you caught that short with me? Hopefully lots of you caught that short with me. Drop me a W in chat if you've locked in. Maybe some of you have still got a runner. Let's have a look. Lots of you catching it. Leron, Steve, Mindful Matters, Aid, Christy. Have I missed anyone out there? Myron, Thumper, Edwin, Aaron and Taylor. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. So tapping into flow zones there, rejecting so far. But again, we're going to be very cautious here, team. I don't like the shorts down here. I know that this is left, but this is the better location up here. So if you grab that, not too bad, but just be very careful they don't start to do this move here now. Only because ES has successfully done its obligation of filling the gap. They start to taper here and build liquidity. It will start to squeeze back upside before maybe retesting later. Remember, we're just in a range here and we've come into a key H1 level. Clean these charts up on the high time frames a little bit. I'm blowing up my phone this morning. Oh, Duolingo. Reminding me to learn languages. Thank you very much. Hey, Tyson. I got your email, by the way, Tyson. I'll do that as soon as we finish this session today. I'll get you sorted. Okay, so ES starting to extend that range. NQ not there yet. Almost at that gap fill. Again, don't like the shorts down here. Even if it pukes now, you are in a bad location right now for shorts, right? Just zoom out into the higher time frame. What is your location? It is demand. All right, we can put in a bullish pattern here and trade all the way back up to 700s if it wants. So your location is now not good. Location here, well, that was fantastic fail breakout. Then here and here was good. Now you need to be patient. If it does this, we trade back upside. If it gets stuck underneath, we open the door for that new move down. Momentum is great. All right, the momentum is fantastic, but the location right now is not fantastic until we flip it. So if you're in a runner, fantastic. You're holding well. Here's your gap fill. Gap fill now complete. Also, no reason to long this. Anyone who's trying to pick up a long here, zero reason to long here at all. All right, there's no bullish structure. This is all bearish structure. We are into higher time frame possible demand block, but there is nothing bullish. All right, you will need something like this, and then you can think about getting bullish for rotation back to here if you are looking for a bullish move. Otherwise, flow zones, like we said, all the time they were flat. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. All of this, don't like it, don't like it. Start to open up. We like these moves here, down, 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 down. Nice and obvious. Into bearish moves, multi-time frame. Oh, wrong chart. Sorry about that. All right, all the time we're flat, not nice. And then we opened up. All right, notice how everything started to separate and we went multi-time frame bearish. Obligation now done. Next target would be here, but if they're going to squeeze, right, you'd be looking for something like this and joining above pivots for rotation back into these areas if you're looking for the longs. Do not guess the bottom on the longs. Please get out the habits of doing that. So nice reaction off that gap fill. Higher the better, I would say, for us as shorts, really. All the way on into 650s would be good, even if it comes up to 700 and then starts to fail there. You've got 10 minutes left until the initial balance is set. So remember, we're going to apply IB rules, auctions and failed auctions. Current range is 280 points. All right, massive range. It might not look big, but it is absolutely huge. This doesn't look like a huge move, does it? But that is almost 300 points. That is massive. All right, good parts of last year, you were lucky if you got 150 points a day. Good parts of 4 or 5 years ago, you were lucky if you got 50 points a day. We're now into an era where we're getting 500 plus points a day of volatility. So you have to be careful with your sizing. Be cautious if this starts to taper. All right, if we start to do this and this, all right, and this. Otherwise, we're looking for continuation, but ideally up here, sweeps and stops, and then roll. Sellers on the tape stacking up from 600 all the way up to 650. All right, they're just looking to get filled on a big pop into there, and then we'll have to see what's what. I said higher the better, really, if we're looking for a continuation short. But the low hanging fruit has gone. What was low hanging fruit? Close the gap. It's gone. We've closed it. Yeah, so main thesis for the day on that downside move has gone. We didn't get the upside move, but we did get the downside move, that bear flag breakdown on the hourly. Now we just wait. VIX got stuck there in front of 50s, 1750, pulling back now. Going to check it's 17 and its previous day high, 1690, 1675. If it can base out there, it can return back higher. We go risk off in the market. If it starts to fail inside, then we probably get a bigger squeeze back towards 700s in the Qs. Starting to taper here, though. All right, starting to build from a strong trend to starting to go this way and starting to go this way. And this is when I become less interested because it's going to build stops into the market for a while. Sorry, I don't know where this has come from this morning. All right, I haven't checked the likes. How are we doing on stream? If you've made profit today, please do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe button. It really helps out the stream and the community. Halfway there, team. All right, let's get it to 50 likes. Start growing this stream, please. Everything coming back to test this higher time frame algo. ES has just done that move. Just tag the higher time frame algo. It will NQ drive up through the flow zones into it and into this pivot around 650. Through 650 opens up that squeeze towards VWAP and this edge here. Right, we're still bearish. All right, look at your M15. Look at your hourly. Look at your M5. We are bearish. Right, if you're struggling to see it, go to a line chart. This is very bearish. Okay, but has the potential to come and back test this area in here if it really wants to. That'll be a relief bounce. and it would be a rotation off the IBL to VWAP. All right, IBL not set yet, but we know where it is for now. Definitely some shorts got caught down there, not understanding. The obligation was the gap fill, and we completed it. So ES on a ripper right now, almost back to that 620 and VWAP mark. Q's a little bit further to go. All right, 650 will then lead us towards 700. Then I'm going to see how we shake out there. If we're going to put in bullish structure up there above, or if it's going to be a squeeze and a fail and a retest of the low again. But so far, very typical inside day. Look at your daily chart. We talked about it. Expecting an inside day here. Extremes of previous day here, and we are trading inside because this will open the gate for liquidity to be used later in the week where we have red folder news coming. Remember, it's a non-farm payroll week into Friday. Yes, not far off that 20s and VWAP. Where's VWAP? 19s, yeah. So ES looking for that drive back up. Qs can do the same if it really wants to. Like we said, 650 break. Lots of sellers have stacked up and started to get filled up here. Whether they were buyers off the bottom or short sellers, I don't know. And then potentially a move to VWAP. Starting to regain control of these flow zones to the upside. They haven't curled yet. We're going to trade to the edge of this range up to 650. And then either it's going to find sellers there or sellers back towards 700. Depending how many got caught offside will depend how we move then. So up to the edge of 650, like we said. Do they sell this now back down towards the lows, towards 600 and sub 600? Or are they going to soak this and go for that VWAP drive? ES didn't make VWAP. SPY missed it by a couple of ticks. So 600 test coming. Here we go. So I am in this short just for that move down towards 600, protecting my gains. Right. Obvious move here. We said this is the edge. I'm bullish over this for a squeeze up. Otherwise, short back down to 600 and then risk off here. And then we have to wait and see, does it now do this? Or are we going to fail, retest the lows? All right. So this is like a first bounce back into here, very similar to this first bounce into here. This is just a counter trend trade looking to see if bulls step back in versus 600, which they are, this block here. All right, so I've just covered my position there. Just a small trade into there, not large. Just because it seemed obvious and it offered basically 50 points of range, which is insane. So second trade of the day now, locked in. If this goes back down towards lower day without me, it's okay. But really, I'm thinking that we have potential here for a further squeeze higher. So I'm just going to let this shake out. Maybe should have held on to that longer. Oof, it's looking good now. Oh, it's looking good now. Higher time frame algo looking very good. Right, so retesting the lows here. All right, so it's going to retest the lows. Do buyers step back in here? If they don't, all right, if these buyers get trapped and they start selling, we go for new leg down. Oh my gosh, I can't believe the size of these candles should have held. Hey, 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 it is what it is. You lock in 50 points and 10 seconds later, you could have locked in, what's this now? I could have locked in 100. Insane. Insane market. Absolutely love it. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. My bad. My bad. Yeah. So I was short versus this breakdown. I covered here into 600 and it's going to retest lows now. I said we weren't bullish in structure until it got over this level. And look at the time. IB now set. So we're going to revisit this initial balance now. Low of day is the initial balance. Remember, think about auction theory, failed auction theory. Make sure you understand where you are on this hourly. Okay, coming back into levels of demand now. So that drive up offered the nice short for a return back into here. Don't get trapped shorting IBL. Sorry about that, Miguel. Oh, I look terrible now, don't I? 100-point trade here, and I only took 50% of it. But hey, hey. So watching this IBL, do they protect the IBL? ES trading back into previous day close. So do buyers step back in here now and protect that IBL? Do we get a failed breakout of the IBL because we are in higher time frame demand here, remember? Or do we get a breakdown and extension away from it? Maybe to previous day low if it does. So rejection of IBL there. Trying a trade here for a move down to previous day low. Looking very, very good here on that IBL rejection. Beautiful, almost there at target. Trying to move my stop down. Locking some in there. Beautiful. Really simple there. IBL, looking for that trade down to there. Locked in. Just ran my stop nice and tight because I'm trading that position on the short is extended. All right, so it's not ideal location, but this is a technical setup. IBL rejection. I was looking for this move here. Didn't quite get it, but got most of it. Can still set up longer. All right, this now key. This IBL now key. But remember, you're in higher time frame demand. You're going to need to be very aggressive with your stops. Or at least very aggressive at taking a partial. Brian, yeah, I'm guessing you're new on stream. That's the first time I've seen your name. Glad you're enjoying it. We trade very, very simple, repeatable setups. So we're now into a continuation setup or a failed auction. Remember, a failed auction would be a trade back inside the IBL and a drive higher. But for now, we're bearish versus IBL. You just got to be careful because this was a 100-point move down. You got to watch your sizing here. ES as well, holding its IBL. VIX looking very good. All right, VIX did that move we talked about. Came in, retested previous day high, and it's trying to extend. New higher day on VIX here now. So VIX now is going to look for the next level, 1765s, and then into 18s if it can continue higher. If it fails here, trades back inside, then we might get a failed auction rotation on the market. So far, you should remain bearish. There should be absolutely no reason for you to be thinking about bullish moves here. It will become very, very obvious if the market shifts back to bullish momentum. Tesla now 4% down on the day. Nvidia 4.6% down on the day. That was a huge sell the news event. They pumped that overnight just to absolutely tank it. So thinking about, can we get involved in more shorts here? Again, I'm going to keep saying we are into higher time frame levels here. You have to be so careful with your positioning. Look at the H1 where we are into levels of demand. You have to be careful. If you get a failed auction here, it can be very nasty. Because you know we've had buyers sat here on the H1 down into the low 500s. Just be smart. Range is huge. Okay, range is huge. Watching the tape. Buyers all the way down to 450s now. Would be nice to see a snap of previous day low here. Would be beautiful. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 times we've failed to make a new low here on a 1 minute chart. Just be cautious here. Starting to soak that bid around 500. Be cautious. New 5 minute bar here as well. It's not pushing the range lower yet. If shorts get trapped here, again, we squeeze high very quickly. Looking for that move down to previous day low, remember, and then beneath that. Just like this. Almost tagged it there. It was very close to tagging that there. We have some divergence. ES is staying inside of the IBL, or the IB, sorry. NQ is extending the initial balance range. The reason for that is tech is heavy and it is way more weighted into the QQQ than it is into the ES, right? So let's have a look at the other sectors. We haven't actually done that yet today. See, most of the board is red, right? Tech heavy red, but healthcare is green, and that is weighted heavier into the SPY and the ES. Maybe you can't see that. Maybe I need to do this. All right, so healthcare sector is green on the day. All right, so probably just holding the SPY up a little bit better than the QQQ. Remember, I just said you have to be careful. We keep finding buyers here. All right, if it can't get this flush moment, you're open to a squeeze back up. Watch your sizing. All right, we can do 50 plus points in seconds in this market. So watch your sizing. I've already locked in. All right, I've locked in my trades. They're still looking for that previous day low. That green line is your previous day low. I'm watching ES very carefully and the VIX. Right? If ES starts to continue lower, it's going to be beautiful to help out the Qs. We have a 5-day moving average hanging very close. So here comes your previous day low. There's the sweeper PDL. Make sure you're locking in some money and paying yourselves. Okay, make sure you're paying yourselves and you are down to runners here. Watching ES now to see if it can do the same move. Can it get through its IBL? It's not there yet. We're getting very close to the 5-day moving average right here. Remember, that would be the reversion. All right, so we would have done on a daily a move from the lower Bollinger Band to the 20-day back to the 5-day. Beautiful. All right, so your stops should be trailing now. Be aggressive with this. So can we turn this demand now into supply? Remember, higher time frame, we were trading into this demand. Can we now come all the way down into 50s, 350s? Right? If we're going to fail up here, we can potentially trade down into low 300s, potentially. It's a big move, but it's possible in this market. Check this out from a fib point of view. We're right at 50% now as well of this leg. All right, right at 50%. So golden zone down here. So ideally, you trade all the way into here and you get your covers off here. And then we think about, does the market want to buy back up? You should be runners only right now. Looking very good for this trend day currently versus the IBL. Looking very good. Runners only. Make sure you're paying yourself some. This can go, that's wrong. Beautiful. All right, ES following suit now. ES coming down into its 5-day moving average. SPY coming down into its 5-day moving average. QQQ attacking its 5-day moving average. You are now, what are you up off that IBL move? You are now up almost another 100 points off the initial balance. Please pay yourself. Do not get greedy in these moves. 100 points is a lot of money, all right? Make sure you're paying yourself. Even one micro, that's $200. Pay yourself some money. And drop me a W in chat if you took that. If you've taken that IBL break lower, drop me a W in chat. Let me know. If you're new here, this might be all brand new to you. You need to learn these setups. Most people in the chat have done the course. All right, so the course, the link is down below. You can do that course right now. You get the indicator or 2 sets of indicators with it and Discord for free. Look at all of you guys smashing this today. Mindful Matters W, Jeff with the W, Idris with the W, right? Everyone taking that IBL breakdown. I love it. Glenn, small wins is all we need. Nice, Foster Scott. Good work. So we need 16 more likes here. I can't believe I have to ask to get to 50 likes every day. It's crazy. When I look at the other influencers and the trades that they take or don't take, it is horrific out there. Nice, John. Coop, 1 win a day is all we need. You know that. You've traded with me a long time. You know that. One trade a day. That's all we need. Lock in next trade mentality or next day mentality. You're welcome, Idris. No worries. So a little bit of a relief pop here on the market. Low hanging fruits have gone. All right, we've taken out the low of days or previous day lows, sorry. Previous day low on the NQ and on the ES. And we are starting to find some bids in and around the 5-day moving average, right? In and around, what's this squiggly blue line? It is the 5-day moving average. If we go back down to a daily chart, go back to the very start of the stream, what did we talk about? Typical rotation from lower bowl to 20-day, mean reversion. Where do we build liquidity? 20-day, 5-day. Now it needs to make up its mind. Either we're going to do a rotation back up here, or we're going to come and roll as this lower Bollinger trends down. So this could have been a mean reversion for a continuation trade. That is the trade I would love for Q1. I would love a sell the news event on Trump as well. I think the market would be much healthier for it, but let's see what we get. You should be runners only right now. No reason to take a new position right now underneath these levels. Your risk parameters are too high and you're running out of targets to aim for. Nice work, Izzy. Good work, buddy. Honestly, that's likely to be all the trades for me today, unless we see something else really, really good set up. No reason to pick the bottoms. Right, the one trade I don't want you to do is pick bottoms. Easiest way to get stuck in the market. I don't like shorts down here now. We're extended away from key levels. Best trades have been and gone. "15 minutes until we get a new hourly candle. I'm interested in this. I'm going to check out the 4 hour as well. Yeah, I mean, it's possible we come down to the low 300s. It really is possible to do that, but maybe the new hourly will need to go back upside for a moment first. So far today, every pop being sold. So potentially another breakdown here, but like I said, I don't love the location now because all the low-hanging fruit has gone. But if we're going to extend, we're just going to keep doing this, maybe down into these pockets down here. But I think we need to build out some structure now. On an M5 and on M15, we need to build out a little bit of structure now. Yeah, we've swept a lot of key levels. Nice, Coop. Yeah, catch you tomorrow, buddy. Have a good day. So new bear flag starting to break down here. I'm not taking these because, like I said, for me, we've taken the key levels out. I've covered my runners, and I don't want to take new positions near low of day when I haven't got a low hanging fruit target to aim for. This is now just discipline of when is the trade an A plus and when is it like a C trade. There you go, extension down, 400 now, whole number check. 5-day moving average looming for the ES. No reason to be thinking about long still. It will become obvious when we shift to a long. Coming to key levels though on the ES and SPY, if you look at Friday, where we found buyers on Friday, we're coming into those levels. Why is it not showing me the time and dates now on my high time frame charts? What Trading View is doing. Yeah, I really don't like shorts anymore down here. Even though we can keep extending, yeah, I just don't love the shorts. The location, the momentum's great, the location, not so great now. Remember, we're starting to eke into 60% zone. All right, a golden pocket if we go from the low to the high. All right, we are through the 50s. We are starting to come into levels down here. Right, maybe this edge down here. And then maybe we find some buyers for a move back up before it builds out liquidity and makes its decision if it's going to do a leg down or a reversal back up. This is trading for later in the week. Obviously, I'm not expecting that today, but I'm saying the location here is not good. Remember, we were short this morning way up here. We're now way down there. Do you want to get short here for the risk of this move? Not really. Not really. Doesn't mean it can't go lower. I'm not saying it can't go lower. I'm not saying I want to buy it either. I'm just saying the location is now not good. Remember, we were short like 700s and 650s and 520s, and we're now 430s. They're starting to add some liquidity higher now. 530s, 550s, 560s is the upside liquidity if they're going to go and search for those sellers up there. Downside is at 400. All right, the downside liquidity it's 400. So there's a buy sat at 400. 100 lots sat there. Again, no reason to be looking to buy this. Do not be guessing the bottoms. You will get yourself in trouble if you get into the habit of guessing lows. Absolutely no reason to be doing that. There's no shift. We are very, very bearish here. It will become obvious when we move into a buy. All right, it will become very, very obvious if and when, I should say, we move into a buy. Any buying right now would be counter trend. On multiple time frames, you would be counter trend on multiple time frames. The range is massive. Absolutely massive. The ES testing its previous day low. It might trade up to the initial balance low here. Maybe Qs would do the same, and then we see if sellers come back in or not, or if we get the start of a bit of a short squeeze back up. Remember, still, that 400 has just lifted as well. So that bar at 400 has just gone. So really the target's now upside liquidity unless he comes back on the book. So maybe trade towards 537s and up. That might be where they're looking to get a relief through. If it can get through previous day low and then trade into the IB. Watching ES very carefully here. VIX as well failed in front of 18. So it swept all the liquidity out into 2 days previous high into 18 and then trading back downside. So if the VIX keeps trading downside, we will get some relief squeeze higher here, and then we can see if those short sellers come in where we said they were above 500s all the way up to 540, I think it was. But yeah, sort of 510s to 525s. Yeah, basically into the initial balance. That's where they're hanging out. A potential squeeze back to IBL basically is what the market is seeing if it can do. Holding the 5-day moving average, right? Holding the 5-day moving average right here. The same trade is happening on the ES and the SPY. So you need to look at the relationship between the 20-day and the 5-day and the Bollinger Bands. They will let you know when you're extended and not. And I'm not looking to take this long. I'm just telling you where the trade is likely to go. If they get some squeeze relief, that's where they're looking to test. They're looking to test the IBL. If we trade back inside of the initial balance, then we have potential, all right, potential for a failed auction down here. If sellers down here, all right, has started attacking breakdowns and not covering, and we do this, all right, and we trap above this, then the relief will be to here, and this would be an IBL to VWAP trade, highly probable trade when we do that. If we reject IBL or in front of IBL, then we retest the lows, right? So it might want to do this move here as it's built range out. So you can see what I said, I don't like the shorts at the lows. There was no more targets to aim for. So we're very, very, very close now. 500 knocking on the door, and then 525s, like we said. That's where the liquidity is sat on the book at the IBL. So here's the move. ES has already done that move, completing its move to IBL. So you need to be thinking now, do we reject the initial balance, or will this be a failed auction and an extension through here, which has trapped shorts and a return into these moves? So hopefully you're at least learning from me. Once we take out low-hanging fruits here, we're runners only. We are not adding into these, even though we like the momentum. There's nothing to look for below, so the target goes. Whereas this now, what can we look for? IBL. What can this look for? VWAP. That makes sense to everyone on chat. Hopefully it does. Those newer and learning the system. If you want more detail in the system, just do the course. All right, I promise you it'll be the best $650 you invest in yourself. So testing IBL here and the previous daily close. All right, so we either reject here and retest towards the low, towards 460s, or we reclaim and we potentially set a squeeze up for that move back towards 640s, 635s even. So everything we talked about. Relief from here to here. This either retests here or it does this move and reclaims and retests here. These are the options now in the market while it decides. But the pro trend is down, but we've taken out the key levels. So for me, I'm less interested in a trade right now because I know I've taken the low-hanging fruit trade. Steve Stees says 3.2 thousand on the day. Time to quit. Thanks, Alex. Happy trading. Oh, great work, Steve. Fantastic work. It's a lot of money. Lock it in, walk away. I think that's a good decision. Never get money dysmorphia, all right? Even if you locked in just a few $100 today, if you stuck to your process, that's fantastic trading. So squeeze relief here. You can see it happening, all right, as we start to relief. Off that low now, we're up, what, $420? So 120 points. Can't talk today. Up off the low of 400 to 520. All right, 120 point relief rally there. Shorts getting stuck at the low, not understanding that there is a lack of targets to now aim for. Starting to come back towards the 5-minute imbalance, the 5-minute flow zones, and the key levels. All of the Mag 7 is red. Relative strength in Google. That's the only one green. Bonds, again, breaking out. I mean, it's crazy. It's not surprising that the market has rolled over. Bonds just continue to break out. It's major, major issues for the market. 10-year and 30-year is going to be a problem for this market. Okay, so watching the book starting to thin out a bit. Not many orders for it left to aim for. 550. There's like a 30 lot up there, but nothing notable on size now. All right. I really think the low-hanging fruit trade's been and gone. This was a probable squeeze, and it can keep squeezing all the way up to VWAP if it wants to. Get through VWAP and base above. Right. We can think about maybe this kind of move. We get all the way up here. And then if it does this, then we get relief rally all the way up. All right, we've seen weirder things. But now reclaiming IBL. All right, so if it can base here, it will look for this. If it fails back under, we retest this level here, 440s, 450s. Pro trend is still down, remember, but shorts are covering now because they hit their targets for the day. Targets for the day were previous day low. ES on an absolute tear. So ES almost back to VWAP already. Right, and you've got a new hourly bar coming. So look at this last hourly bar. Big wick left off the bottom.
10 seconds, not even 10 seconds to a new hourly bar. So let's see if they just rip this higher very, very quickly into that open of the new hour, or if we're going to do some consolidation here. A squeeze relief here definitely happening. Yeah, exactly, Scott. Took out yesterday's lows. Nothing else left for it to aim for in the immediate future. For lower targets, I mean. So we get squeeze relief of those shorts trapped at the low of day. So it might just bounce around here near the IBL for a bit. Watching ES and VWAP. Watching previous day high on the VIX, just sub 17. Watching those deep pullback flow zones to see if it gets stuck there also. But we're right at the IB right now. Maybe it wants to build some relief versus here, maybe versus here. Something like this is possible. Something like this is also possible. But those who are on stream, you know, I like low-hanging fruit. Once I know the direction of the move, we aim for that low-hanging fruit and we close. If we were going to go upside today, all right, if we were going to do a move like this upside, low-hanging fruit was here, and then 900s, or is that 900? Sorry, yeah, 900s. So at the break of 8, this was the low-hanging fruit upside. We broke lower, low-hanging fruit was here. That's where all the stops were. We just aim for the liquidity. It's all we do each day. Yes, Foster Scott, exactly. Weekly model most definitely in play. Setting the range, looking good. Especially if we close here inside. Lower prices still available, but I think we're probably more likely to set a quasi in unless something really spooks the market on a lower time frame. Maybe something like this can be set for relief. Got to watch that IBL. It's going to be key, as is 480s, 460s. So far, every pop back up. When I say pop, it's really like 150 points, isn't it? It's not really a pop. They're big old moves. Every pop back up has been sold into. Nvidia just absolutely decimated. 5.2% down on the day now. Absolutely wrecked. Remember, I think it was opening up like 3, 4, 5% up on the day as well. So it's given back effectively 10%. Tesla sub 400 as well, 397 right now. Getting absolutely wrecked as well. Right at that IBL right now. Can we get that squeeze relief up now for like a quasi kind of move, that flag kind of move that we just talked about, up towards VWAP? That's the question that the market's posing. If you're interested in this, you just need to remember we're beneath the deep pullback, but potentially this liquidity going to be used potentially all the time it can hold this for a return back in. What it might need to do first is this. That's your risk exposure. There you go. So this is the risk exposure of that deeper dive down into around here. Maybe what was it we were saying before? 440, 460, I think. Somewhere around there is your risk exposure if it's going to dive down to find buyers. Obviously, the pro trend, the higher time frame, the momentum is still downside. Still downside. Right? So even if you're going to try and pick this, you are in downside momentum. The question is it going to do this for the relief? So easier trades upside are when flow zones get on top of deep pullbacks and on top of lower time frames. Right? That's when you're going to be a pro trend upside. But right now, you are not pro trend upside. You've got to watch your ATR. All right, you're up to 42 points per M1 candle right now, per minute candle, 42 points. So if you're someone that uses a 10, 15, 20 point stop loss, it is not going to work in these market conditions. You're going to get run over. The potential flag off the flow zones here is what they're looking to do for relief up towards VWAP. Oh, thank you, 60 hour. Yeah, I did see that flash up on the Discord in the news section. Yeah, delivers remarks from Mar-a-Lago. I can post that into chat if you want. Probably a good idea to be flat into that. Get the link for you. That should have posted the link. Odd that it hasn't. There you go. In the news section. In the news section. Put it on our side monitor here. They're still trying to build this flag for some relief. They're doing a sound check. You can see that high beat. That's from the Trump stream. Yeah, he can definitely sway the markets. Either way, the tariffs might spook them. He can be very positive and have it go the other way. It can go both ways. But structure-wise, lower time frame, it's trying to build a flag to go and trade back upside towards the VWAP. The question is, do they let them through? We kept saying that liquidity, the 550s, was key up there. That's where they had the orders stacked. 500, 525, 550. Relief will be higher. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Nice to see new members joining all the time. So this is printing a buy now, but just be very cautious because the flow zones are underneath the deep pullback. All right, relief will be up here if it offers that squeeze. Otherwise, it will want to revisit this area down here if it fails. All right, and see if buyers come back in. If they fail, we roll lower and lower and lower. It's the same thing over and over and over again. You have to watch your sizing. These are big, big moves. This low to here is a huge move. So if it needs to sweep underneath first, you got to be prepared for a 100-point rollover down there. It's a lot. Not like the markets 2-3 months ago where you're looking at sort of 20 points in those moves. VIX trying to base out above previous day high, right? VIX stuck now between previous day high and IBH on the VIX. So it's stuck between sort of 1680s and 1735 for now. The M5 still very, very bearish. Still holding. Have a look at this. Still holding these levels. Clean. Right, so traded up to, you can trade down to here like we kept talking about. Range is big. The range is very, very big. Pro trend is down. All right, pro trend is down. So any pops really are just relief in the market. Volume stepping in a little bit there on that sell. So you got to wonder if those buyers got trapped up high, playing for that flag. Trump's still not speaking yet. Put it on a side monitor. You'll probably hear it when it starts to come in. They're trying to hold around 500 for now, but I don't know. I don't know, folks. Trying to build that quasi, but like I said, low-hanging fruits have gone. It's not something I'd like to trade right now. Just lower highs on the high time frames. Potential for squeeze relief because the low-hanging fruit is gone. That's the only thing I would say. There's potential for squeeze relief because the low-hanging fruit is gone. That squeeze relief would take you all the way up towards VWAP. There's the search higher. So did they trap there to come underneath? That's the question. I'm taking a small trade here. I took long on that bull on the bear trap underneath there. Just a small amount. It's high risk, but my stop's already in the money. Enter was at 10s. Moved my stops up to 20s. If it just keeps rejecting 30s, then I'll just take that money off the table, just like that. Just a small bit of relief there. I was just looking at this potential trap off the fib, pull the flag, sweep of this, trade inside, and move my stop up instantly. It's very, very high risk trade. Watching this kind of play here to see if they need to trap shorts down here, if they're going to give a relief rally. I want to see them trap shorts on breaking down low and instantly turn inside. If they keep rejecting, we retest this level here. Playing very small size as well. All right, I've locked in my money on the day. I'm really not fussed about much else. We are almost there, team. All right, we need 8 more likes. 8 more likes. I can't see how you can get in and out so quick at the moment. Well, I use hotkeys for everything. So I use hotkeys, I have a stop break even, and then I just drag that stop up very, very quickly when I'm trading something like that. Yeah, so I execute on Ninja. So I have my hotkey set up on Ninja. Are they going to use this as that bear trap for the lower time frame and trade back upside? That's what I'm wondering. I'm not in this now. I had one attempt. I'll just sit this out now. But that sweep of that low, I feel like that might have been enough. This is what I was playing for. This sweep under here, if they turn this, use these stops, and that will give the relief. Remember, shorts are short versus here. So if they are forced to cover, they open the gate for this move up into these levels. Right? That's what I was looking for. I was looking for shorts to get stuck here, use their stops for that trade upside. Very high risk trade, I will say. It's counter trend. We're just waiting for Trump to talk. It's very, very high risk. But I had a crack at it. Didn't quite work out. I made some money, but didn't quite work out. Now I just sit out. Looks like it's going to go. To me, this looks like it's going to go. This might work. I kind of hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't reclaim IBL and go, because it's always the worst when your thesis is good. Yes, exactly, TR. We did this move here. Right, this was the low-hanging fruit. I don't know if you were in chat the whole time. So we took, I think it was this one here for a breakdown, and then the retest inside. I took this for a move back through here, and then a reject of the IBL. We took this for the move through previous day low, and then this was just runners. And down here, I said no more shorts. No more shorts down here because there's no targets to aim for. It can move lower, but we're running out of targets to aim for. So the higher time frame, we're getting a reaction here off an old point of control, an old value area low right here. So we've traded in and we're holding. So maybe there's some relief back upside after hitting all key targets. Yeah, so that's what I was playing for in this counter trend long. Remember, we're still printing an inside bar. If we can get above here, we'll be back in an inside bar. So we would have searched outside, traded back inside, which is highly probable in this kind of market. Get back above the IB low, effectively, we will trade an inside bar. Yeah, nice, TR. Good work. Yeah, I thought you might have arrived late when you said that. Made sense. Yeah, anything under here is shorts trapped right now because the target was here and then here. So if they've entered here for a breakout short, they're currently trapped. We trade back inside, they get really, really trapped. That's very similar to Thursday last week. Right? Breakout traders love to short underneath or above previous day low, previous day highs. That's where they get trapped. I probably just moved back from the mic. It's a brand new mic, so it's a very good mic, but I probably haven't got it set up well enough. I had so many like effects and limiters on the old mic because the high frequency in it was nasty. So I think this sounds better, but I probably haven't got it set up well enough yet. Thanks, Idris. Yeah, it's a much nicer mic than the old one, but a bit quieter, just because of the limiters I've got on it. But I will fix that. It's probably going to do it now, isn't it? It's probably going to go for it. That trap looks pretty juicy. Looks very, very thin. Trump nowhere to be seen. Yeah, it's very sensitive. If I move away from it, it's very, very sensitive. So I need to do a bit of work on that, on making sure it levels out, no matter how loud I talk. Sneaking suspicion this is going to go for it. Always fun when you read it well and you don't give it enough room. It's okay. So dancing between the flow zones. Yeah, exactly. Coiling for Trump. Problem is now is you might get like these kind of moves, you know, when he starts talking. So risk exposure becomes very, very high. Looks so thin, right? It thinned right out, and now like the liquidity provider algos come back on because they're still waiting. What time's he supposed to speak? Does anyone have that down? Let's have a look. Anyone got it? I can't see it. I'm looking for it to see what time his start time is. My eyes are rest. Yeah, I can't find it anywhere. Start time. Maybe it's just loose. Well, I've got it live, but he's not there. Maybe it's at the half-hour mark or something. Still building out for that move for sure. Oh, it's Canva. Starting to look like it's going to give that pop here. There you go. Here's a squeeze relief. Starting to try and go now. So that trap was everything we thought it would be. Here he comes. Remember, trade inside of IBL is normally to here. If they fail up here in these, remember this is M5 supply. If they fail up here, you need to be cautious about this kind of structure being built for a return back in to here. But external liquidity under here has been taken. Looking good for that move. So I really feel like that bear trap was set under here, where I got long. This is looking very, very good for a drive up, in my opinion. It's counter trend. So if you're taking this long, please make sure that you are locking in some profits, moving your stop along the way. All right, but your counter trend, this is a short squeeze relief type play. Look at the M5. You're coming into this area. Pivot above this will open the door for a return up here. Keep it nice and simple for yourself. Watch your ATR. ATR now up towards 30, 40 points already. Remember what we said, if you return back downside, you've got to be careful that these pops don't fail. Remember we said, be careful of this kind of move here, because this is your supply right here. And if we think about this as a leg, you came into golden pocket. That's why I said you take this long, you must be aggressive. taking partials and moving your stops up. Didn't make it. The ideal circumstance would have been a squeeze all the way up, but we got stuck here. And if we start to break down underneath and build liquidity, we're going to get into a range here and maybe dips each side of the liquidity, get sold and bought. I'm flat. I've been flat since I tried that trade. The reason is we've taken all the key levels out. All right, so once I see a market which is taking key levels out, I'm way, way less interested. Hear me say it every single day. I become far less interested. Already locked in good money today. Just sub $2,000 on the day. That's fine for me. Just traded funded accounts today. I might start linking all of these tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up to 11 right now. A couple more still to pass. All 150Ks. Sorry, 13 accounts, not 11. The SPY is still stuck underneath VWAP, all right? Watching that ETF VWAP. QQQ not there yet. VIX starting to reject its IBH, all right? So VIX on an M10. It's either going to do a giant flag and break out to the upside, or we're going to start to get stuck between IBH and previous day high, which is what we talked about 20, 25 minutes ago. When it first did that move. Yeah, it might still run up. The relief will be to here, like we talked about. Relief will be to here, but you've got to. This is what's dangerous about this is that's from 70 all the way down here. That's what? Sorry, that's a 70-point sell-off in 3 minutes, right? So managing your risk in this is very, very hard. I could announce a horse race. Anytime I see that, I always think of there's like a meme video of the like the UK garage MCs doing the horse races. I always find funny. Just turn Trump down because he's just waffling. All I hear is Shane Gillis now. I just see and hear Shane Gillis when Trump talks. VIX back to IBH here. No, not really. Trading Wizard. Not really my thing, but you can use the flow zones for it. It will work exactly the same way. Look at BTC, it being a sell signal right now. Sell, 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 sell. You can even go to higher time frames. All you have to do is follow the flow zones is exactly the same way. Right? They work the same way. Builds a cloud, builds a flag, buy signal, trades up, creates a range, fails under range, sell signal, trade down, drop, base, drop. It's the same principles. Doesn't matter what the market is. These will work on absolutely anything. So failing here, back downside. Like I said, what's interesting here is this is the edge of this intermediate range. That's failed. I wouldn't be surprised if this fails and trades inside. A little bit messy right now, which is why I'm just risk off, locked in my money. Exactly. All markets work the same way. Everything works the same way. So back to previous day low, trading back downside. All right, so how we react down here into 58s and lower will be key. You can think about this as a leg, like I showed you earlier, into 50% mark now. Does it come down into golden pocket? Do they find buyers down there, or are we going to get weak? And are all these buyers here, right, here, going to be used to search lower? What's crazy is this is 170 point move. It's huge. All right, there have been days, many days in the past, where that is your whole day. So you have to watch your sizing. ATR starting to uptick again, up over 30 points per M1 candle now. VIX starting to trade upside. All right, VIX potentially doing that bull flag on an M10. So what I would be concerned about right now, if you see VIX break out through 18 and sustain bids above 18, it can trade all the way up to 1955. If we do that, the market will absolutely puke. If this bull flag fails and we just trade sideways, the market will trade sideways. And if we start trading sub 17, the market will have more upside relief. So watching the VIX cautiously. But the treasuries are just holding their gains, looking really good. Well, especially the 10 and 30 year look really good. 5-year doesn't look too bad. 2-year closing its gap a little bit. It's such a problem for the market that can't see how we can sustain risk on environments with those treasuries breaking out. Previous day low there, being soaked off again. Across the board there as well, on ES as well. No reason to force this. No reason to force this. Trump just really waffling now about the election. Nothing important. So a soak off previous day low there. Again, look at the size of these moves. These are violent moves back into range. What did I say? Outside of this range, failed outside this side, failed outside this side, back into range. You would need to see bid sustain outside or bid sustain to the downside outside the range for a trend. Otherwise, we're just going to create liquidity. Remember, as we create liquidity, we're building stops in the market. Those stops built into the market is what will trigger moves higher. If we get through here, this is what will trigger the move higher. Shorts covering to go up. Buyers selling to go down. This chop. I'm gonna looking at the, are you sorry, Trading Wizards, I'm assuming you're talking about the treasuries. I'm looking at the higher time frame on the treasuries, yeah, and they're trading. I'm looking at the rate. They're currently trading up towards 4.491%. If you look at a daily, all right, look at a daily on these. They are doing an inverted head and shoulder and starting to base and break and base and break. And we are in an upside rally. We're creating a new bull flag. We can then trade up on my on here. The 5-year can then trade up towards 477. Similar across the board. We are trading upside. That is a problem for a market which wants to go into quantitative easing. If you just zoom back, all right, we are basing well over the 2022 pivot. That is a problem. These should not be drifting upside like this with the market doing the same thing. It is problematic. Where are we at? 20 minutes left, and then I'm going to leave you. Again, just chopping around in that range to be expected. And targets got taken today. That downside target got taken. Become less interested in the trades. Low-hanging fruit trades. That's what we aim for each and every day. Where is the low-hanging fruit? Can we take that trade? Not really interested in much after the low-hanging fruit. Unless there's obvious liquidity to go and search, or go and hunt, I should say. So far, we are rejecting current value area low. Go to this higher time frame right here. We're rejecting this level here, 50s, over and over again. So we're sort of bouncing between old point of control, yeah, and current value area low. Trade back inside, relief back to the next value area low, maybe 660s. All right, the edge of this supply. Breakdown of this, we can trade back down towards here, 350s, which is kind of where we came into, this old value area low. So we know this is an area where we broke out from, where buyers are trying to soak the market up off. This right here, right, which is where this low is. This pivot, value area high, value area high. We're stuck at value area low on the current session. If we get relief, we trade upside into here. Otherwise, we just chop and chop and chop. Remember, the H1 can do this for a little while. And then tomorrow, we can have a breakdown or a failed breakdown and a turn inside. We can have a breakdown and a rollover. We can use this, open with a gap up and squeeze all the way back up. These are all options. That open with gap up is what we did last Friday, Thursday to Friday last week. This, I think that was here. Yeah, so we put in this low, shorts chase down. We opened with a gap up. These shorts are forced to trigger a squeeze because they have to cover, and we go up. Right, this is the opposite to now. These buyers right now who bid up overnight are selling. We got caught offside. So high time frame narrative matters all the time. Ramos says, thank you for another green day. Amazing teaching. Great. I'm happy with that, mate. Glad you made some money. Most of you in chat should have been profitable. I don't think that we had any risky trades here. I think the start of the day, I was looking for that drive higher and it didn't come. I was looking for this, but it was a failed breakout. I was looking for this move. And once this failed, we were simply looking for shorts, right? Once the flow zones went from flat, we kept saying, look how close everything is. VWAP, high time frame algorithm, previous day, open, momentum clouds. But once we open up, look how nice these become. Just simple selling continuation. We even took this here for that move down. I don't think we could have got much else, honestly. I think we've traded it very, very well today. The red line, still in evaluation, but made money. Great work. That's fine. Stick to the process. Still learning. Lost money when I went on a break for 2 months. Oh. Phoenix AVS, greetings from Cali, Colombia. Hey, buddy. Good morning to you. Hope you've had a good day. Yeah, when I was on a break for not being too well, and then over Christmas, I have to give props and thanks to Coop, who ran the Discord, did really, really well. Yeah, well, it doesn't mean lower, but borrowing becomes more expensive, and we basically, historically, when we go into quantitative easing, we actually start recessionary pressure then. And we should not be upticking. We can't uptick Bitcoin, gold, bonds, and the market all together. Something has to be risk off for everything else to be risk on. Nice, Brian. Great work. Great work. Those of you who've done the course and in Discord, obviously I'll be in there in the afternoon. If you're thinking about doing the course, the link is down below. It's a one-time fee, 20-hour on-demand course, plus you get my indicators, this flow zone indicator you're looking at right now that does all the hard work for you. You get that. Right, it works on multiple time frames. Remember, on a 5-minute, we're still in a sell. You will see it will flash up. Sell. We've been in a sell since this morning. And you also get Discord for life for free. All right, one-time fee. So if you're interested in doing that, the link is down below, or go to flowzonetrader.com. $649 one-time fee. If you like how I trade and you're interested in learning more. If not, I'll see you on stream. I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, just before market open. 10-15 minutes before market open, I always give a top-down analysis on the market and what I'm looking for. We're still building range here in the market. I'm completely done for the day. All the time we're in this range, I'm not interested. Still stuck at that IBL at that previous day close, between that and previous day low. Yeah, exactly, John. It does so much of the hard work, especially if you can be vigilant. And I only do the M1 because everyone here wants the M1. But if you just follow, you can even ignore the pullback signals. If you just follow the sell and the buy signals, all right, it will, especially in the New York session, it will just pay dividends. This is only on an M10. There's your sell signal, there's a buy signal, there's the buy signal. So yesterday you could have bought that, sold that, bought that back into close. 3 trades, 1, 2, 3. Let's go to New York session today on an M2. Ignore the pullback buys, just go for the main signals. If you'd sold that, you'd still be in a sell, right? It's not going to let you out of that sell until it flashes a buy. And go back another 2 days. Let's get rid of these lines. Yesterday, let's go the day before. So we had a buy signal at the open. Sell the extension. We had a pullback buy and a trend buy. This is my favorite trend. Above the IB, flag, buy, sell into close. I mean, it's just so simple. We don't need to overcomplicate it. M2, M3, M5 on the flow zones are magic. Mindful Matters. I muted Trump because he just started waffling about the election. So I actually muted him. So I just thought he's doing his typical things where he goes around and around and around before he gets to the point. What program is this? These are the flow zones right here. Yeah. The only other thing on my chart is a VWAP. So everything else you see are my proprietary indicators, which you get for free when you do the course. So it's to help you trade the right side of the trend. What's he saying? Do I need to turn it up? Is he talking about Trudeau yet? I saw yesterday he was saying that Canada should join America, become part of America. I thought that was hilarious. Never going to happen. Never ever gonna happen. Very dangerous place. The most dangerous in the world. It's just so extreme. Makes me laugh though. Yeah, totally. Yeah, my favorite comedies are definitely Adam Ray playing Biden and Gillis playing Trump. They're like, I've never laughed so much in my life. Those two are so good at that. Make America Great Britain again. Yeah, I don't think the King's going to sell us out to Trump anytime soon. Keir Starmer probably would. I think you could bribe him with anything right now. For a guy that said like he was, you know, really reserved and wouldn't abuse the job, and then he's seen in like a box, and every possible perk that guy could have, he's taken since he got in control. It's hilarious. I absolutely hate Keir Starmer. He's an absolute moron. He's making it very hard for me to keep any of my money in the UK right now as well. I'm now classed as a foreign investor in the UK, so my own house, which I own and rent out, I have to pay 20% of my gross for being foreign investor to the tax man, and then another 20% in corporation tax. I mean, it's a nightmare. Yeah, power corrupts, quite right. It doesn't matter who you are, power seems to corrupt. So market testing towards this area that we said where buyers stepped in earlier, towards this area. All right. So squeeze out, didn't get as far as we would have liked. Like we said, you have to be careful of this. Breakdown underneath, now testing this. All right, snap under this. Maybe we extend lower and push that IB down. We're going to go for that. Maybe that old value area low. $350. All I can hear is him talking about whales. I'm turning him off. He loves a waffle. All right, I'm going to be right back, team. Won't be a minute. Five minutes left till lunch. I'm probably going to get off stream at that point. Made my money for the day. It's been a good start to the year. Been a good start to the year. Worst thing about having an ever-growing watch collection, and most of them being automatics. So go through different watches every 2 or 3 days and have to change the time on all of them. It's a nightmare. Christy, I feel like I lose brain cells when I hear him speak. I really, really tried my best. I'm not one to hate a person for no good reason, but I have no idea what's going through his head when he speaks. Yeah, I've turned it off. He really rambles. Like I listened to the Rogan interview, and he sort of rambled a lot, and even Rogan commented on it later on another interview, saying he was scared he was just going to go completely off track, which I find hilarious. But hey, it's all good fun. It's all good nature. John, great work. Yeah, good. I'm glad you had a great day. You're welcome, very welcome. I just can't imagine running a country full stop. I think it's way too much hard work, way too much pressure. And I don't think you're going to please people. I think we live in a society where we're so split in everything, in politics, in what we require, what we think's fair. You're never going to make anyone happy anymore, I don't think. You're constantly going to have one side upset with you. It's a tough job. It's a tough job. All right, coming back towards that 5-day as we approach the new hour. So retesting that lower day. Buyers couldn't take control. They couldn't get that counter trend squeeze up to view up. We have failed the IB again. All right, so this became the key level in here. These guys here, these sellers resold it. Buyers couldn't get that squeeze. Remember, we were playing for that trap for the move up. Didn't come. It was counter trend, and we roll over. The only one it triggered on for me was at M1. All right, I was looking for this here, and I took profits very quick because I knew it was counter trend. I said it was high risk, very, very high risk and counter trend. But you go to a 2-minute and below, we're just drifting lower now. Just quickly zoom out of the SPY. Yeah, SPY coming into, what is this, Friday's levels. That 5 days right on the breakout level of Friday, 589.40s. Double check, yes, probably exactly the same. Yeah, yes, pretty much there now. I'm just going to check QQQ real quick, see if there's any gaps I've missed. I think we did. We filled both gaps. There is an inefficiency that we, where's the close? We could fill an inefficiency back around to Thursday's close. Right, there is a gap from Thursday's close to Friday open. If it's really going to get heavy, we could fill that inefficiency. I don't understand why it's not telling me the day anymore. It's really annoying. Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Thursday. 270s or so if it really wants to be efficient. Finding bids there again. Right, finding bids here again. For now. Right, no shorts here, please. Don't be shorting down here looking for this. It's really, really high risk, in my opinion. Doesn't mean it doesn't do it, but lacking things to aim for. Doesn't mean you should be looking for the long either, by the way. You have clear range above you now. All right, you know the buyers are trapped here. All right, so they should become pop sellers here again for rotation if we reclaim this. goes upside. If it goes this, it goes VWAP. But remember, these are all trading down. Your narrative on the day is lower prices, but we've taken out all the key liquidity, which is why I'm not actively trading right now. There's nothing for me to aim for. If you're confused, go to the line chart. Remember, I always say to newer students, especially, go to the line chart. Look at this retest. All right, we failed from here. Drop, base, drop, retest it, failed, retesting lows. You get a drop like this, you can continue to trade lower, but I don't like that trade on the day because I don't think there's any targets to really aim for. All right, Edwin, I promise I'll get that fixed for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to have to play around with it today and make sure I get those levels right. But we'll get the mic sounding nice and loud and crisp for tomorrow. And that's it for me, folks. Be back tomorrow morning. Please trade safe. Don't be fighting the trend. Just be sensible with your positioning. Remember, breaks in this market are leading to 50+ points in 1 minute. All right, so just be very, very careful with your sizing. And we will be back tomorrow for another green day, hopefully. We'll be watching for the weekly model. Use hard stops, you know, score. Peace and love. Speak soon.